I should have known something was wrong when my mother-in-law insisted on hosting my birthday party at her house. But there I was, standing in Serena's oversized living room, wearing the emerald cocktail dress I'd bought specially for the occasion, watching my whole world implode. My name is Mara, and this is the story of how I burned my life to the ground and rose from the ashes. "Another glass of champagne, dear?" Serena's voice dripped with honey-coated venom as she approached, her designer heels clicking against the marble floor. I declined with a polite smile, the same smile I'd perfected over 6 years of marriage to her son. The party had started normally enough. 30 or so guests mingled around the grand living room, picking at expensive hors d'oeuvres and making small talk. My best friend Lexi kept shooting concerned glances my way. She'd never trusted Serena, and now I wished I'd listened to her warnings more carefully. "Time for a toast!" Serena clinked her glass, gathering everyone's attention. My husband Omar moved to stand beside me, his hand resting lightly on my lower back. "To my dear daughter-in-law on her 33rd birthday." I should have seen it in her eyes, that glint, that darkness. "You know," she continued, her voice carrying across the suddenly quiet room, "when Omar first brought Mara home, I thought she was such a clever girl, so ambitious." She paused, sipping her champagne. "And I was right, wasn't I? She knew exactly what she was doing." My stomach dropped. Omar's hand tensed against my back. "Mother," he warned, but his voice was weak, always so weak when it came to her. "No, let me finish, darling." Serena's smile turned razor-sharp. "I've held my tongue long enough. Did you all know that before meeting my son, Mara was just a small-time business owner, barely making ends meet?" She laughed, the sound like breaking glass. "And now look at her, living in our family home, wearing designer clothes, playing the perfect wife." "Serena," I started, but she cut me off. "You're nothing but a gold digger, Mara, a fake. We all see right through you." The room went dead silent. I felt 30 pairs of eyes boring into me, including Omar's sister Sophia, who was trying and failing to hide her smirk behind her champagne glass. "Omar," I whispered, turning to my husband, "say something." But he just stood there, frozen, his face a mask of discomfort and indecision. 6 years of marriage, and he couldn't even defend me against his mother's public attack. Lexi stepped forward, her face flushed with anger. "How dare you—" I grabbed her arm, stopping her. "Don't," I said quietly. Then louder to the room. "Thank you all for coming. I'm sorry, but I'm not feeling well. Please enjoy the rest of the evening." "Running away?" Serena called after me as I headed for the door. "How typical." I paused at the threshold, turned and met her gaze. "No, Serena, not running, just finally seeing things clearly." The drive to Lexi's apartment was a blur. My hands shook on the steering wheel as 6 years of suppressed rage and hurt bubbled to the surface. 6 years of subtle digs and snide comments. 6 years of Omar's silence. 6 years of paying off his massive debt in secret, just to keep our life together. Lexi's lights were on when I pulled up. She'd left the party right after me, following in her car. As soon as she opened her door, I collapsed into her arms, tears finally breaking free. "I can't do this anymore," I sobbed. "Then don't," she said firmly, leading me to her couch. "You've given enough, Mara, more than enough." I wiped my eyes, careful not to smear my makeup. My phone buzzed with messages from Omar, but I ignored them all. Instead, I pulled out my other phone, the one nobody knew about, and sent a quick text to Neil, my lawyer. "It's time. Start the proceedings." Lexi watched me, concern etched on her face. "Are you sure about this? Once you start, there's no going back." I thought about Serena's smug face as she called me a gold digger, about Omar's silence, about the hundreds of thousands of dollars I'd paid to save them all from financial ruin, money they didn't even know about. Yet. "They want to call me a gold digger," I said, my voice steady now. "Fine. Let's show them what a real gold digger can do." My phone buzzed again. "Omar, please come home, we need to talk." I turned off the phone and looked at Lexi. No more talking, it's time for action. The next morning, I stood in my home office, methodically emptying the wall safe hidden behind a generic landscape painting. My hands trembled slightly as I pulled out folder after folder of documents, 6 years of carefully preserved evidence. "You shouldn't be here alone," Lexi said from the doorway, coffee in hand. She'd insisted on coming over once she knew I was returning to the house. "What if Omar comes back?" "He won't," I said, spreading papers across my desk. "He's at his mother's, probably listening to her plan my social execution." I picked up the first document, a bank statement from 2017. "Want to see something interesting?" Lexi moved closer, peering over my shoulder. Her coffee cup clattered against the desk as she read. "Holy shit, is that—" $380,000, I confirmed, running my finger down the column of red numbers. That's how much debt Omar brought into our marriage. A failed real estate investment he never told me about until after the wedding. That son of a— "Wait," I interrupted, pulling out more statements. "Watch this." I laid them out chronologically, creating a paper trail of transactions spanning 6 years. "See these deposits? Every month like clockwork, my business profits slowly paying off his debt." Lexi grabbed one of the statements. "You've been paying his debt this whole time? Does he know?" I laughed bitterly. "No. He thinks his mother's been helping him. She thinks he's been handling it himself. Neither of them bothered to check the actual paperwork." "But why didn't you tell him?" I sat heavily in my office chair, memories flooding back. "Remember our wedding day? How perfect everything seemed. 2 weeks later I found him in this very office, crying over these papers. He was about to lose everything, including his mother's house." "The house we're in now?" I nodded. "The family home. Serena's pride and joy. Turns out Omar had used it as collateral for his investment. When it failed, the bank was ready to foreclose." "So you saved them," Lexi said softly, "and they don't even know." "I did more than save them." I pulled out my laptop, logging into my secure email. I paid off the mortgage completely, but here's the interesting part. I didn't put it in Omar's name, or Serena's. Lexi's eyes widened as I showed her the property deed. "You put it in your name?" "In a trust, actually. Neil helped me set it up. Everything's legal. I have the paperwork to prove every payment came from my personal accounts." I forwarded the deed to myself, watching the sending animation with satisfaction. "Serena thinks she owns this house. She's been lording it over me for years, threatening to kick me out if I don't treat her son right." "Oh my God!" Lexi sat on the edge of my desk. "Does anyone else know about this?" "Just Neil, and now you." I started organising the documents into a new folder. I've been waiting for the right moment to reveal everything. After last night, I smiled grimly. I'd say the moment has arrived. My phone buzzed, another message from Omar. I'd turned it back on to maintain appearances, but I wasn't ready to respond. Not yet. "What's your plan?" Lexi asked. Before I could answer, we heard the front door open. Footsteps echoed through the house. "Mara!" Omar's voice called out. "Are you here?" I quickly shoved the documents back into the safe, closing it quietly. "Stay here," I whispered to Lexi. I met Omar in the living room. He looked terrible, unshaven, still wearing last night's clothes. "Where have you been?" he demanded. "I've been calling all night." "Really?" I kept my voice neutral. "I couldn't tell over the sound of your silence at the party." He ran his hands through his dishevelled hair. "You know how Mum gets. What was I supposed to do? Defend your wife, maybe?" I crossed my arms. "Stand up to her for once in your life?" "It's complicated." "No, it's really not." I turned away from him, heading back to my office. "I need to work." "Mara, wait." He grabbed my arm. "Mum wants to talk to you. She's willing to apologise if—" I jerked away from him. "If what? If I grovel? Beg forgiveness for being such a gold-digging disappointment?" "That's not—" "Tell your mother she'll be hearing from me soon enough." I walked back to my office, closing the door firmly behind me. Lexi looked at me with concern. "You okay?" I picked up my phone, scrolling through my contacts until I found the number I needed. It had been years since I'd called it. "I'm fine," I said, pressing dial, "but I need reinforcements. It's time to call my brother." The phone rang 3 times before Valentino's voice answered. "Hello?" The memories hit hardest during dinner. Omar had gone back to his mother's, leaving me alone at our massive dining table, the same table where Serena had orchestrated countless holiday disasters. "Pass the salt, dear," her voice echoed in my head from last Thanksgiving. "Though you might want to keep it. Lord knows your cooking needs all the help it can get." The doorbell interrupted my thoughts. I opened it to find Sophia, Omar's sister, standing there with a suspiciously sweet smile. "Just checking on you," she said, brushing past me into the house. "After your dramatic exit last night." I closed the door, counting to 3 in my head. How thoughtful. "Mom's really upset, you know." Sophia settled onto our couch uninvited. "She spent all morning crying about how ungrateful you are." "Ungrateful?" I couldn't help but laugh. "For what? The public humiliation?" "For everything she's given you." Sophia's fake concern vanished. "This house, for starters. Do you know how many generations of our family have lived here?" If only she knew. I bit back the truth, watching her examine her manicure with calculated indifference. "Did you know," Sophia continued, "that Caroline, you remember her from the country club? She told me she saw you having lunch with some man last week, not Omar, obviously." And there it was, the real reason for her visit. "That would be Neil, my lawyer," I said flatly. "We had business to discuss." Sophia's eyes lit up. "A lawyer? Are you planning to divorce my brother?" "Get out." "Excuse me?" "Get out." I walked to the door, holding it open. "And Sophia, the next time you want to spread rumours about me, try being less obvious about it." She gathered her designer purse, face flushed. "Mum was right about you all along. You're nothing but a gold digger, please." I smiled coldly. "Your creativity is as limited as your intelligence." After she left, I went straight to my closet. Behind my winter coats hung a small suitcase, already packed, just in case. I'd learned long ago to be prepared. My phone buzzed, a text from Neil. "Documents are ready. Meeting tomorrow at 2. I confirmed the appointment, then started photographing every room in the house. Evidence of my belongings, my life here. As I reached the garage, a unfamiliar silver car drove past slowly. Too slowly. I called Lexi immediately. "There's someone watching the house," I said when she answered. "What, are you sure?" "Silver sedan, tinted windows, 3rd time I've seen it this week." "Think Omar hired someone?" "More likely Serena." I moved away from the windows. "She's probably trying to catch me doing something she can use against me." "Like meeting your lawyer?" "Exactly." I sighed. "Remember last Christmas, when she gave me that bracelet?" "The one that turned your wrist green?" "She told everyone it was real silver, that I must have had an allergic reaction because my body wasn't used to fine things." I laughed humorlessly. Then Sophia posted pictures on Instagram about how some people pretend to be what they're not. "They're awful," Lexi said firmly. "You don't deserve any of this." "No, but I let it happen." I watched the silver car make another pass. Every snide comment at dinner, every accidental spill on my clothes, every time Sophia whispered about me at family functions. I stayed quiet because I thought I was protecting Omar. And now? Now I'm done protecting anyone but myself. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through my recent calls. I need to try Valentino again. He hasn't called back. "Your brother? The one you haven't spoken to in years?" "He'll answer," I said, more confidently than I felt. "He has to." Just then, my laptop pinged with an email notification. From Omar. "Mom wants to have dinner tomorrow night. Just the 4 of us. You, me, her and Sophia. Please come. We need to work this out as a family." Family. The word made me want to scream. I typed back, "Can't tomorrow, I have a meeting." His response was immediate. "Cancel it. This is important." "So is my meeting." "With who?" I stared at the screen, thinking about the silver car, about Sophia's visit, about 6 years of swallowed pride. My lawyer, I typed, then hit send before I could change my mind. The typing indicator appeared and disappeared several times. Finally. What lawyer? Why do you need a lawyer? I closed my laptop without responding and dialed Valentino's number again. This time, on the second ring, he answered. "Hey, little sister," he said softly. "I heard you might need some backup." The tears I'd been holding back all day finally broke free. "Val," I whispered, "I really, really do." The coffee shop was nearly empty when Valentino walked in. 7 years hadn't changed him much. Same military posture, same protective big brother energy. He spotted me instantly, and for a moment we just stared at each other across the room. "You look tired," he said, sliding into the booth across from me. "You look old," I replied, and just like that the tension broke. We both laughed, and it felt like no time had passed at all. "So," he said, wrapping his hands around the coffee mug I'd ordered for him, "tell me about this husband of yours." I spent the next hour laying it all out, the debt, the lies, the silent payments, Serena's constant psychological warfare. Valentino's expression darkened with each detail. "I should have been here," he said finally. "I should have protected you. You're here now." I pulled out the folder of documents I'd brought, "and I need your help." He examined the papers carefully, his military precision showing in how he arranged them on the table. "You own their house," he said, looking up at me. "Legally, free and clear." "Yes." "And they have no idea?" "None." He leaned back, studying me. "What's your plan?" "I'm hosting a brunch," I said, pulling out an invitation. "Next Sunday. I want you there when I tell them everything." "You're going to announce it publicly?" "They humiliated me publicly. Seems fair." Valentino frowned. "Mara, revenge isn't—" "Don't." I held up my hand. "I've thought this through. For years they've treated me like an outsider, a gold digger, someone who doesn't deserve to be in their precious family. All while I was secretly saving them from financial ruin." "And your husband, Omar?" I felt my throat tighten. He had his chances, so many chances to stand up for me. My phone buzzed. Lexi calling. "Hey, what's up?" "That silver car is back," she said without preamble. "I drove by your house like you asked. It's parked across the street." Valentino noticed my expression change. "What's wrong?" I put the phone on speaker and quickly explained about the mysterious car. "Want me to check it out?" Valentino offered, his military background showing. "No need," Lexi cut in. "I got close enough to see inside. There's a woman in there. Long dark hair, expensive clothes. Ring any bells?" "Sophia," I said grimly. "Omar's sister." "Should we confront her?" Lexi asked. "No." I started gathering the documents. "Let her watch. She'll have plenty to report back to Serena soon enough." After hanging up, Valentino helped me organize the papers. "You know this will destroy them," he said quietly. "They destroyed themselves," I replied. "I'm just revealing the truth." "And what about you? What happens after?" Before I could answer, my phone lit up with Omar's face. I declined the call. "He's been trying to reach me all day," I explained, "ever since I mentioned meeting with my lawyer." "Are you going to tell him?" "Tell me what?" Omar's voice made us both jump. He was standing by our booth, still in his work suit, looking between me and Valentino with obvious suspicion. "Who's this?" "My brother," I said, standing up. "Valentino, this is Omar. Omar, my brother." "Brother?" Omar's face showed confusion, then anger. "The brother you haven't spoken to in years? The one you said abandoned you? Why is he here now?" "Because I called him," I said firmly. "Because I needed someone on my side for once." "I'm on your side." "Are you?" I laughed bitterly. "Where was that support at my birthday party? Where was it every time your mother attacked me?" "That's different." "No, it's not." I gathered my things. "And you're about to find out just how not different it is." Omar grabbed my arm as I tried to pass. "What does that mean? What are you planning with your lawyer?" Valentino stood up, his presence suddenly filling the space. Let go of my sister. Omar released me, stepping back. This is between me and my wife. Not anymore, I said, my voice steady. You made your choice at that party. Now I'm making mine. As we left the coffee shop, Omar called after us. Whatever you're planning, Mara, think about what it will do to this family. I turned back one last time. I have thought about it. For 6 years, that's all I've done. Think about your family, protect your family, pay for your family's mistakes. What are you talking about? You'll find out on Sunday, I said. Bring your mother, and Sophia? Tell her she can stop playing detective in her car. The show's about to start. The sound of breaking glass woke me at 2 a.m. I found Omar in his home office, surrounded by scattered papers, an empty whiskey glass in pieces at his feet. Someone at the club mentioned seeing you with a lawyer, he slurred, looking up at me. Said he specialises in property law. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Did they also mention he's been my family's lawyer for 20 years? Why didn't you tell me you were meeting him? Why didn't you tell me about your debt before we got married? He flinched. That's different. Is it? I stepped carefully around the broken glass. $380,000, Omar. That's how much you owed when we got married. Did you think that debt just magically disappeared? His face went pale. Mum helped. Your mother didn't pay a cent. I pulled out my phone, showing him the banking app. I did. Every month for 6 years. While you and your family called me a gold digger, I was quietly saving you all from financial ruin. That's impossible. He grabbed the phone, scrolling through transaction after transaction. These payments, they're all from your account? Every single one. Why? His voice cracked. Why didn't you tell me? Because you needed to believe your mother saved you. Because your ego couldn't handle your wife being the provider. Because every time I tried to talk about money, you shut down. He slumped in his chair. I didn't ask you to do this. No? I felt something snap inside me. When you sat in this very office crying about losing your mother's house, when you talked about disappointing your family, what exactly did you think would happen? The house. His head snapped up. What about the house? I paid off the mortgage, all of it. So it's clear? Mom owns it free and clear now? I laughed, the sound harsh in the quiet room. No, Omar, I own it. The house is in my name. The silence that followed was deafening. Omar stood up slowly, gripping his desk for support. You're lying. Check the property records, I'll wait. His hands shook as he opened his laptop. I watched his face as he searched, saw the moment the truth hit him. This will kill her, he whispered. Mum, she'll never recover from this. Recover from what? The truth? I moved closer. Your mother has spent years tormenting me, making me feel worthless, calling me a gold digger, all while living in a house I was secretly paying for. Please, he reached for me. We can figure this out. Don't tell her. I stepped back. I'm hosting a brunch on Sunday. Your whole family will be there, and I'm telling them everything. You can't. I can't. My voice rose, like I couldn't speak up when your mother humiliated me at my own birthday party. Like I couldn't defend myself when Sophia spread rumours about me. Like I couldn't expect my husband to stand up for me. I'll do better, he promised. I'll talk to Mum, make her apologise. It's too late for that. Mara, please, think about what this will do to us. Us? I gestured around the room. There is no us anymore, Omar. You chose your side a long time ago. You just didn't realise you were standing on quicksand. His face hardened. So that's it? You're just going to destroy my family? Your family destroyed themselves. I'm just turning on the lights so everyone can see the wreckage. And what about love? His voice broke. Did these 6 years mean nothing? I felt tears threatening but held them back. Love isn't supposed to cost this much, Omar. It's not supposed to leave you broken. Don't do this, he pleaded one last time. Mum's health isn't good. The shock could... Stop. I held up my hand. Your mother is perfectly healthy. She just uses her conditions to manipulate you, like she uses everything else. I turned to leave, but his next words stopped me. I'll fight you on this. We'll get lawyers. You can't afford lawyers, I cut in. Everything's legal, everything's documented. I made sure of that. Why are you doing this? I looked back at him, at the man I'd loved enough to sacrifice everything for. Because sometimes the only way to save yourself is to burn everything down and start over. And us? Our marriage? Our marriage ended the moment you stood silent at that party. I walked to the door. The brunch is at 11 on Sunday. Bring your mother, bring Sophia, bring whoever you want. The truth is coming out, with or without you. I left him there, surrounded by broken glass and broken promises, and went to pack another suitcase. The private dining room at La Maison sparkled with morning sunlight. I'd chosen this restaurant carefully, expensive enough to appeal to Serena's snobbery, but public enough to keep everyone civil, hopefully. Valentino stood by the window, watching guests arrive. Heads up, your mother-in-law just pulled up. She's wearing what looks like battle armour disguised as Chanel. Of course she is. I smoothed my white dress. Simple, elegant, expensive. No one could call me a gold digger today. Lexi squeezed my hand. Ready? Born ready. Serena swept in first, Sophia trailing behind her like a well-trained shadow. Omar entered last, looking like he hadn't slept in days. What a quaint venue, Serena said, eyeing the crystal chandelier with manufactured disdain. Though I suppose it's the best you could manage on short notice. Mother, Omar warned, but she waved him off. And who are these people? She gestured to Valentino and Lexi. My brother and my best friend. I smiled sweetly. I thought we should keep this intimate. Just family. Family? Serena laughed. Dear, they're hardly... Please sit. I cut her off, gesturing to the arranged place settings. I've ordered champagne. It's barely noon, Sophia protested. Trust me, you'll want it. Once everyone was seated, I nodded to the waiter. He began pouring champagne while servers brought out the first course. Before we begin, I said, standing up, I have something for you, Serena. I retrieved an ornate box from beside my chair. Serena's eyes lit up despite herself. She never could resist a gift. What's this? She asked, taking it. Open it. She lifted the lid, then froze. Inside lay 6 years of bank statements, property deeds and payment receipts, all meticulously organised. I don't understand, she said, but her whitening knuckles on the box suggested otherwise. Let me help. I picked up the top document. This is Omar's original debt statement, $380,000, the one he brought into our marriage. Sophia leaned over to look. But Mum took care of that. No, I said quietly. I did. I pulled out more papers, laying them on the table one by one, every payment, every month, from my personal account. While you were calling me a gold digger, I was saving your son from bankruptcy. Impossible, Serena whispered. The house deed is at the bottom, I continued. You might want to look at the name on it. Her hands shook as she found it. The colour drained from her face. This is a mistake, she declared. This house has been in our family for... The house was collateral for Omar's failed investment, I interrupted. The bank was ready to foreclose. I paid it off, every cent. The deed is in my name. Sophia grabbed the paper from her mother. She's lying. She has to be lying. Check the records, I said calmly. Call the bank. Call any lawyer you want. It's all legal. You manipulative little... Serena started to rise, but Valentino cleared his throat loudly. Choose your next words carefully, he warned. Omar, Serena turned to her son, tell me you didn't know about this. He stared into his untouched champagne. I found out 2 days ago. And you didn't tell me? How could he, I asked, when you've spent years making him dependent on you, making him believe he needed you to save him? You planned this, Sophia accused. All along, you were plotting... No. My voice cut through her hysteria. I planned to save my marriage, to protect my husband, to build a life together. I looked at Omar. But that's not what happened, is it? What do you want? Serena's voice was ice. Money? Is that it? I want you to know the truth. that while you were mocking me, belittling me, calling me a gold digger, I was the one keeping you all from ruin. And now, Omar finally spoke. What happens now? I picked up my champagne glass. Now I'm selling the house. You can't, Serena shrieked. I can, and I am. I took a sip. You have 30 days to move out. This will destroy us, Sophia whispered. No, I set down my glass. Your pride, your lies, your manipulation, that's what destroyed you. I'm just turning off the life support. Serena stood abruptly, her chair scraping the floor. You'll regret this, when this family turns its back on you. What family? I looked around the table. The one that never accepted me, the one that treated me like an outsider, that family. She stormed out, Sophia rushing after her. Omar remained seated, staring at the documents. Mara, he started. Don't. I gathered my things. Just don't. As I walked out, Lexi and Valentino flanking me, I heard Omar call my name one last time. I didn't look back. The truth was finally out, and it felt like breathing for the first time in 6 years. 2 weeks after the brunch, I stood in what used to be our bedroom, packing the last of my clothes. The house felt different now, emptier, but somehow lighter, like it too was ready for a change. The doorbell rang. Omar. Again. You're not answering my calls, he said when I opened the door. I'm busy. I started to close it, but he blocked it with his foot. We need to talk about the house. There's nothing to talk about. I crossed my arms. The sale is happening. Mum's sick, he said. Actually sick this time. Her doctor says the stress. Stop. I held up my hand. Your mother's convenient illnesses don't work on me anymore. He followed me inside, watching as I continued packing. Where are you going? I bought a condo downtown, near my office. So that's it? 6 years of marriage and you're just moving out? I stopped folding a sweater. The separation papers are being drawn up. Neil will send them to your lawyer next week. I don't have a lawyer. You should get one. He sat heavily on the bed. What about the house? Can't we discuss? I've already decided what to do with it. I pulled out my phone, showing him the email from the Women's Shelter Organisation. I'm donating it. They'll turn it into a transitional home for women leaving abusive situations. You're giving away a $3 million house? Funny how you know the exact value now, I said, when for years you pretended not to know anything about the finances. Mara, please. He reached for my hand. We can work this out. I'll stand up to Mum. You had 6 years to stand up to her. I pulled away. 6 years of watching her tear me down. 6 years of silence. I was trying to keep the peace. No, I turned to face him. You were trying to keep your comfort, your mother's approval, your image of the perfect son, while I kept the lights on and the roof over our heads. I never asked you to do that. That's the problem, Omar. You never asked me anything. Not about the debt, not about the house payments, not about how I felt being treated like dirt by your family. A car horn honked outside, Valentino arriving with his truck to help me move. Your brother's been staying with you? Omar asked, his jaw tightening. He's been helping me pack. I zipped up my suitcase. Unlike some people, he actually shows up when I need him. That's not fair. None of this is fair. I grabbed my bag, but it's happening anyway. As if on cue, my phone buzzed, an email from a local reporter. Seeking comment on Hudson family property transfer and shelter donation. Someone leaked the story, I said, showing Omar the email. His face paled. Mum will be devastated. Your mother devastated me for 6 years. Consider it karma. Valentino appeared in the doorway. Ready to go, sis? Omar stood up. This is really happening. You're really leaving. I left the moment you stood silent at that party. I picked up my last box. Everything else is just paperwork. What about love? His voice cracked. What about everything we built? We didn't build anything, Omar. I built it all while you watched from the sidelines, and now I'm taking it down the same way. Valentino took the box from me, heading downstairs. Omar followed us to the front door. The shelter people will be here next week to start renovations, I said, turning back one last time. Make sure your mother knows. I don't want her making a scene when they arrive. She won't leave, he said. This house means everything to her. Then she can explain to the police why she's trespassing in a property she doesn't own. I pulled out my keys, removing the house key from the ring. Here, you'll need this to finish moving out. Don't do this, he pleaded. We can sell it, split the money. I don't want money, I cut him off. I want peace, and the knowledge that something good will come from all this pain. I walked to Valentino's truck, not looking back when Omar called my name, not looking back when I heard him start to cry. As we drove away, I finally let my own tears fall. You okay? Valentino asked softly. I watched the house disappear in the side mirror. No, but I will be. My phone buzzed again, the reporter following up. This time I typed back, "Yes, I'll comment, but first let me tell you a story about what real gold digging looks like." Valentino glanced at me. You sure about this? I hit send. They wanted to make me the villain of their story. Time to show them who the real villains are. The autumn breeze carried the sound of hammering from the renovation crew as I stood on the sidewalk, watching the old Hudson house transform. New windows gleamed in the morning sun, and fresh paint brightened the Victorian facade. "Ms. Reyes?" A woman approached, extending her hand. "I'm Amanda, the shelter's director. Thank you for meeting me here." "Of course." I shook her hand, noting her warm smile. "How's the renovation going?" "Wonderfully. We'll be able to house 12 families once it's complete." She gestured to the building. "Would you like to see inside?" I hesitated, but nodded. We walked through the front door, and immediately I noticed the changes. The pretentious artwork was gone, replaced by bright, hopeful paintings. Serena's precious antique furniture had been moved out, making way for comfortable, practical pieces. "The response from the community has been overwhelming," Amanda said as we toured, "especially after your interview went viral." The article had indeed exploded online. Rich Family's gold digger accusation backfires, the true story of sacrifice and revenge, had been shared millions of times. Serena's social circle had imploded. Sophia's country club friends had quietly distanced themselves. "Have you heard from them?" Amanda asked carefully. "Serena moved in with her sister in Florida," I said. Sophia followed. "Omar." I paused. "Omar sent the divorce papers back signed last week." We reached what used to be my home office. Now it was being converted into a counselling room. "We got another letter for you," Amanda said, pulling an envelope from her bag. "From one of our future residents. Would you like to read it?" I opened it carefully. "Dear Ms. Reyes, when I read your story, I cried. Not because of what they did to you, but because of what you did with it. You turned pain into purpose. You took a house built on lies and turned it into a home built on hope. Thank you for showing me that sometimes the best revenge is helping others heal. Sarah." My vision blurred with tears. "There are more letters," Amanda said softly. "Many more." My phone buzzed, Lexi calling. "Hey, what's up?" "Turn on Channel 7 now," she said urgently. "Serena's doing an interview." Amanda and I rushed to the partially furnished living room, where a TV was mounted for the future residents. I turned it on just in time to see Serena, looking deflated without her usual designer armour. "I was wrong," she was saying, her voice trembling. "I judged her unfairly, treated her cruelly, and I lost my son because of it. Omar hasn't spoken to me since we found out the truth." The interviewer leaned forward. "What would you say to Mara now?" Serena looked directly at the camera. "I'm sorry. What I did was unforgivable. You saved our family while I tried to destroy yours, and now you're saving other families. You're better than I ever was." I turned off the TV. "Are you okay?" Amanda asked. "Actually, yes." I walked to the window, watching the renovation crew work. For the first time in years, I really am. My phone buzzed again, a text from Omar. "I saw Mum's interview. I'm sorry too, for everything. You deserved better. The shelter, It's perfect. You're turning our biggest mistake into something beautiful. I hope someday you can forgive me." I showed Amanda the text. "Should I respond?" She smiled. "That's entirely up to you, but from what I've seen, forgiveness can heal both ways." I typed back, "Thank you. I hope you find peace too." "Ready to see the rest?" Amanda asked, gesturing to the stairs. As we walked through the house, each room held memories, both painful and precious, but now they were being transformed, just like I had been. "The first families move in next month," Amanda said as we reached the front door again. "Would you like to be here for that?" I looked at the house one last time, not as the prison it had become, but as the sanctuary it would be. "Yes," I said, "I'd like that very much." Walking back to my car, I passed the spot where Sophia used to park to spy on me. Now it held a sign, Hudson House, a place of new beginnings. They had called me a gold digger. They weren't entirely wrong. I had dug, through layers of lies, through years of pain, through my own fear and silence. And I had found gold after all, not in wealth or status or family names, but in truth, in strength, in turning wrongs into rights, and that was worth more than all the Hudson fortune combined. I got in my car and drove away, leaving the past behind, but this time I wasn't running, I was flying.